Namaste Bitia. Myself JBN Neha Saini. Today I will discuss about the anatomy of the leg. The leg is a portion between the knee and the ankle. It is composed of the two long bones, that is the tibia, which is lying medially, and the fibula lying laterally. Now the facial compartments of the leg. In the leg we have three compartments: anterior, posterior and lateral. Medial compartment is absent. Lateral compartment is also known as peroneal compartment. Each compartment has its own muscle, blood and the nerve supply. Here we can see the three compartments: the anterior, posterior and the lateral compartment. These compartments are because of the deep fascia of the leg, the intermuscular septum and the interosseous membrane between the tibia and the fibula. The anterior compartment of the leg contains the extensor muscle group. The lateral compartment contains the peroneal group of muscles and the posterior compartment contains the flexor group of muscles. The anterior compartment contains the muscles which can dorsiflex the ankle and extend the toes. The anterior compartment contains the anterior tibial nerve and the anterior tibial artery. The innervation of the anterior compartment is by deep peroneal nerve, also known as fibular nerve. The anterior compartment contains the tibialis anterior, extensor hallucis longus, extensor digitorum longus, fibularis tertius. These muscles are depicted over here, the anterior compartment muscles. So individually we will cover these muscles. First is the tibialis anterior. It arises from the lateral condyle of tibia, upper half of the lateral surface of tibia and the interosseous membrane between the tibia and the fibula. Insertion is on the medial cuneiform base of first metatarsal bone. Nerve supply is same, that is the deep fibular nerve. Action is dorsiflexion and inversion. Then we have extensor digitorum longus. Origin is from the lateral condyle of tibia, anterior half of middle 2/4 of medial surface of fibula and the interosseous membrane between the two. Insertion is on the dorsum of base of middle phalanx, dorsum of base of distal phalanx of the toe. Nerve supply is by the deep peroneal nerve. Then we have extensor hallucis longus. It arises from the posterior half of middle 2/4 of the medial surface of fibula. Insertion is on the distal phalanx of the great toe. Nerve supply is by the deep peroneal nerve. Action is extension of the great toe and dorsiflexion of the ankle. This is the extensor hallucis longus tendon. Then the fibularis tertius. It arises from the distal 1/4 of the medial surface of the fibula and the interosseous membrane. Insertion is on the dorsum of the shaft of fifth metatarsal. Nerve supply is by the deep peroneal nerve. Action is eversion and weak ankle dorsiflexor. Now we come to the lateral compartment of the leg. The lateral compartment contains the muscles which can evert the foot. The nerve supply over here is the superficial peroneal nerve. Blood supply. There is no major artery in the lateral compartment. Here the muscles are supplied by the muscular branches arises from peroneal artery, which is a branch of posterior tibial artery, and the nerve supply is the superficial peroneal nerve. The muscles over here are the peroneus longus and the peroneus brevis. The peroneus longus or the fibularis longus arises from the head of fibula, upper 1/3 and posterior half of the middle 1/3 of the lateral surface of fibula. Its tendon courses behind the lateral malleolus underneath the fibular trochlea and lies in the groove in the cuboid bone. In the diagram we can see the passage of the tendon of peroneus longus under surface of the cuboid. Insertion is on the inferolateral surface of medial cuneiform and the first metatarsal on its inferior surface, that is plantar surface. The nerve supply is by the superficial peroneal nerve and the action is eversion of the foot. Then peroneus brevis, it arises from the anterior half of the middle 1/3 and whole of the lower 1/3 of the lateral surface of the fibula, and it courses behind the lateral malleolus. Insertion is on the tuberosity of the fifth metatarsal. Nerve supply is by the superficial peroneal. Action is eversion and plantar flexor of the foot. So this is the table giving the notification of origin, insertion and the action of muscles of the lateral compartment of the leg. Then we come to the posterior compartment of leg. Here we can see the posterior compartment is subdivided into again the superficial and the deep posterior compartment. The superficial posterior compartment includes the short saphenous vein, the peroneus communicating branch of the common peroneal nerve, medial cutaneous nerve of the calf and the sural nerve. The innervation in the posterior compartment is by the tibial nerve. The muscles over here are gastrocnemius, plantaris and the soleus. Now first we come to the gastrocnemius muscle. This muscle has two heads of origin, the medial and the lateral head. Medial head arises from the depression at the upper and posterior part of the medial condyle of femur and continuing behind the adduct tubercle to a slightly raised area on the posterior surface of the femur. Lateral head arises from the lateral surface of the lateral condyle of femur and lower part of the corresponding supracondylar line. Insertion, it receives the tendon of soleus on its deep surface to form Achilles tendon to attach to the middle of the three facets on the posterior surface of calcaneus. Action is the plantar flexor of the foot at the ankle. It assists with flexion of the leg at the knee. Innervation is by the tibial nerve and the blood supply is by the popliteal artery. Here we can see the gastrocnemius muscle. Then the plantaris. It arises from the lateral supracondylar ridge of femur and inserted on the posterior calcaneus via calcanean tendon. Action is weakly assists the gastrocnemius in plantar flexion of the ankle and flexing the knee. Then superficial posterior compartment. It arises from the posterior surface of the head and the proximal 1/4 of the posterior surface of the shaft of fibula. Then the tibia. It arises from the soleal line and middle 1/3 of the medial border of the tibia and the fibrous band which arches between the tibia and the fibula. Insertion, it joins with the tendon of the gastrocnemius to form the tendocalcaneus to attach to the middle of the three facets on the posterior surface of calcaneus. The muscle is covered proximally by gastrocnemius and accessible on both the sides. Action, plantar flexion of the foot at the ankle. Innervation is same, that is by the tibial nerve. This is the plantaris and below that we can see the soleus muscle. And here we can see the insertion point on the calcanean bone. Now the deep compartment. Deep posterior compartment of the leg includes popliteus, flexor digitorum longus, flexor hallucis longus and tibialis posterior. Popliteus arises from the lateral condyle of femur and lateral meniscus, inserted on the posterior surface of the shaft of tibia on the proximal part. Nerve supply is by the tibial nerve. Action is flexion and medial rotation of the leg. Then flexor digitorum longus, it arises from the shaft of tibia. Insertion on the distal phalanges of the toes, that is from 2nd to 5th. Nerve supply is by the tibial nerve. Action is same, that is the plantar flexion and inversion of the foot and flexion of the toes. Then flexor hallucis longus, it arises from the shaft of fibula, inserted on the base of distal phalanx of the great toe. Nerve supply is by the tibial nerve. Action is plantar flexion, inversion and flexion of the toe. Then the tibialis posterior muscle, it arises from the shaft of tibia and the fibula and the interosseous membrane between the two. Inserted on the major tendon, insertion passes to the tuberosity of navicular. Posterior tendon slip pass to calcaneus plantar surface of all the three cuneiforms, cuboid and to the base of second, third and fourth metatarsal. It is supplied by tibial nerve. Action is plantar flexion and inversion of the foot. Now the applied. The posterior tibial tendon syndrome. It is more common in women in the 6th decade of their life. The risk factors include obesity, diabetes, increased age, hypertension. The symptoms are early tenosynovitis, medial ankle foot pain and weakness, progressive loss of arch, lateral ankle pain due to subfibular impingement is a late symptom. This is the image showing you the posterior tibial tendon problems. Then the anatomy of the foot. Here we can see the two surfaces of the foot, that is the dorsum and the plantar. The proximal close to the ankle, distal away from the ankle. This is the dorsum of the foot. This is the cutaneous innervation of the foot. Here we can see the area supplied by that particular nerve. For example, the area 1 is supplied by the saphenous nerve, area 2 is supplied by the deep peroneal nerve on the dorsum and the plantar surface. On the dorsum of the foot, we have only one muscle, that is the extensor digitorum brevis. The blood supply over here is by the dorsal spadius artery and the nerve supply is by the deep and the superficial peroneal nerve. The extensor digitorum brevis arises from the anterior part of the upper surface of the calcaneus and from the inferior extensor retinaculum. Insertion is by 4 tendons into the proximal phalanx of the big toe and the long extensor tendons to second, third and fourth toes. Action is extension of the toes. Now the synovial sheaths of the extensor tendons on the dorsum of foot. We have a separate sheath for each tendon of tibialis anterior, extensor hallucis longus and the common sheath for extensor digitorum longus and peroneus tertius. It extends to the level of the base of 5th metatarsal bone. Then we have superior extensor retinaculum. It is a thickened band of the deep fascia in the lower part of the front of the leg above the ankle joint. Attachments medially to the lower part of the anterior border of the tibia and laterally to the lower part of the anterior border of the fibula. In the diagram we can see the superior extensor retinaculum. Then the function of this retinaculum is to keep the extensor tendons in contact with the lower end of the tibia during their contraction. Prevent the spring out of the extensor tendon during their contraction. Then we have the inferior extensor retinaculum, which is the lower extensor retinaculum. It is a capital Y shaped band of the deep fascia in the front of the ankle joint. Attachments. The lateral end, that is the stem of the Y, is attached to the anterior part of the upper surface of the calcaneus, and medially the upper band is attached to the medial malleolus and the lower band passes to the medial side of the foot and fuses with the deep fascia of the sole. Now the structures which are passing deep to the extensor retinaculum from medial to lateral side includes Tom has very nice dog and pigeon. This is the mnemonic for the structures which are passing deep to the extensor retinaculum. Now the T stands for tibialis anterior, H stands for extensor hallucis, V, these include the vessel, that is the anterior tibial vessels, nerve, N for nerve, that is the deep peroneal, D for the extensor digitorum longus muscle, and P is for the peroneus tertius muscle. Then the peroneal retinaculum. On the peroneal side, that is the lateral side of the leg, we have the peroneal retinaculum. These are also two, the superior and the inferior peroneal retinaculum. The superior peroneal retinaculum, it connects to the lateral malleolus to the lateral surface of calcaneum. The structures passing deep to it includes the tendon of peroneus longus and the brevis in a common synovial sheath. Now the inferior peroneal retinaculum, it is attached to the lateral surface of the calcaneum. The structures passing deep to it includes the tendon of peroneus longus and brevis muscle. Each tendon possesses a synovial sheath. Structures that pass behind the lateral malleolus superficial to the superior peroneal retinaculum are the caudal nerve and the small saphenous vein. Then we have the applied, that is the foot drop. It is because of injury to the peroneal nerve. There is inability to lift the foot, the front of the foot part off the ground. That is, you cannot dorsiflex the foot. This is the foot drop. Then we have anterior tibial stress syndrome. It is the pain on the anterior side of the leg because of overuse of the muscles of the anterior compartment of the leg. And this completes your topic, the leg.